What if the very things you've prepared for survival become the first targets in a crisis? Now that's a thought to ponder. In times of turbulence, when the world as we know it collapses, it's not just the usual suspects who might be after your survival stash. Yes, you've got the looters, the desperate neighbors, even your friends and family might be tempted. But here's the kicker. Even governments and authority figures might want a piece of your survival pie. Be it martial law, a supply chain collapse, or civil unrest, your most valuable survival items could be seized or confiscated. You've spent years, sweat, and resources stockpiling these essentials, and losing them could be catastrophic. So, how do you protect what's rightfully yours? That's what we're here to discuss. Stay with me as I reveal the 7 items most likely to be seized in a crisis and how to hide them effectively. Firearms and ammo, the top priority for confiscation. In almost every state of emergency, whether it's a natural disaster, civil unrest, or war, the first items to be regulated or seized are firearms. The reason is simple. Firearms offer power, protection, and, in some cases, a means to hunt for food. They're the ultimate survival tool, and both desperate individuals and authorities know it. But how do you keep your firearms and ammo safe from confiscation? It may feel like a daunting task, but with the right strategies, you can protect your most valuable survival tools. Firstly, consider storing backups off-site. This could be at a trusted friend's house or in a hidden, secure location. This way, even if your primary stash is discovered, you'll have a fallback. Next, maintain a low-profile inventory. The fewer people who know about your firearms, the better. This includes your online presence. Be cautious about what you share on social media or in online forums. You never know who might be watching or listening. Decoy locations can also be a useful strategy. By creating a smaller, more obvious stash, you can potentially divert attention away from your main cache. Finally, understanding the safe handling of firearm documentation is critical. Keep your paperwork in a secure location separate from your firearms and ensure that it's up to date. And remember, loose lips sink ships. Be careful about what you say to neighbors or even family members who may not be as committed to privacy as you are. Remember, in a crisis situation, firearms and ammo become more than just tools. They become lifelines. They can provide food, protection, and a sense of security when everything else is uncertain. That's why they're so often targeted for confiscation. But with careful planning, a low profile, and a bit of misdirection, you can keep your firearms and ammo out of the wrong hands. Because when it comes to survival, it's not just about having the right tools, it's about keeping them. Keeping your firearms and ammo safe and hidden is the first step to survival. Medications, the lifeline everyone will want. In a crisis, the value of medications skyrockets. Antibiotics, pain meds, insulin. They're not just essentials, they're the currency of collapse. When the world turns upside down, these items can mean the difference between life and death. But they also become a beacon, attracting those desperate for relief or advantage. Therefore, you must be smart about how you store and protect your medications. It's not just about keeping them safe, it's about ensuring they're there when you need them most. Let's start with storage strategies. Vacuum-sealed packets are a great way to preserve medications and keep them from prying eyes. You can also use false bottom containers, a classic trick that can fool even the most determined thief. Consider setting up medical caches in your bug-in or bug-out spots. These are locations where you've pre-stored supplies for when you need to stay put or get out fast. By distributing your supplies, you reduce the risk of losing everything in one fell swoop. Now, not all medications are created equal. Some will draw more attention than others. Painkillers, antibiotics, and insulin, for example, are highly sought after. To blend these into your normal supplies, consider repackaging them or storing them with less valuable meds. This way, they won't stand out and attract unwanted attention. But remember, all of this preparation is for naught if you don't know how to use your medications properly. Take the time now to learn about dosages, side effects, and potential interactions. In a crisis, you won't have the luxury of consulting with a doctor or pharmacist. Finally, don't forget about over-the-counter medications. Things like aspirin, antihistamines, and antacids can also become valuable commodities. They might not be as critical as prescription meds, but they can certainly make life more comfortable in a pinch. Securing your medications ensures you stay healthy when medical facilities may not be accessible. So take the time now to prepare. In a crisis, it's the little things, like a well-stocked medicine cabinet, that can make a big difference. Food stockpiles, they'll come looking. When the world is in chaos, food becomes more precious than gold. It's not just a matter of survival, it's a matter of power. And when you have what others want, you become a target. Let's take a step back in time. During World War II, governments were known to raid food stores during times of rationing. And it wasn't just the authorities. Neighbors, friends, even family could turn on you if they knew you were hoarding food. Fast forward to a future crisis, and it's not hard to imagine history repeating itself. So, what can you do to protect your food stockpile? It's all about being clever and careful. First, keep some decoy supplies visible. This could be a few cans of beans, some dried pasta, a small stockpile that might satisfy an intruder without revealing the extent of your stash. Next, get creative with your hiding spots. Think about places in your home where people wouldn't normally look. Under floorboards, behind false walls, or inside sealed containers in basements or sheds. These can all make excellent hiding places for your long-term food supplies. And remember, the more spread out your stockpile, the less likely you are to lose it all in one go. So don't put all your eggs in one basket, or rather, don't put all your canned goods in one cupboard. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, keep your prepping wins to yourself. In the age of social media, it can be tempting to share our successes online. But when it comes to prepping, discretion is key. The less people know about your stockpile, the safer it will be. Because when the chips are down and the cupboards are bare, it's your food stockpile that could mean the difference between survival and starvation. So protect it like your life depends on it, because one day, it just might. A well-hidden food stockpile can mean the difference between survival and starvation. Fuel and power sources, liquid gold after a collapse. In a world where the grid has gone down, fuel and power sources become the lifeblood of survival. Gasoline, propane, solar battery banks, generators. As soon as society takes a hit, these become invaluable, but they also become prime targets for those less prepared. Imagine the scenario. Gas stations run dry, the electrical grid flickers out. Suddenly, your stockpile of gasoline, your solar panel setup, your generator, they're not just conveniences, they're your lifeline, and they're in high demand. In a world running on empty, your fuel supply is king. But how do you keep these invaluable resources safe? Concealment and security are key. For your fuel, consider underground storage. A buried fuel tank is out of sight and out of mind for any would-be thieves. And it has the added advantage of keeping the fuel cool and stable, extending its lifespan. As for your solar setup, discretion is your friend. There's no point in having a rooftop array that screams "I have power" to everyone within a mile radius. Instead, consider less conspicuous locations. Your backyard perhaps shielded from view by a fence or hedge, or even portable solar panels that can be set up and taken down as needed, leaving no permanent sign of your power source. And your generator? It's not just the sight of it you have to consider, but the sound. The drone of a generator can carry far, drawing unwanted attention. Look into sound dampening options and consider ways to camouflage your generator when it's in use. Remember, in a post-collapse world, power is more than just a convenience. It's a beacon, drawing others to you for good or ill. Powering your survival needs without drawing attention is crucial. Communication gear. Be heard when others are silenced. In a world that's fallen into chaos, your ability to communicate could mean the difference between safety and danger, between knowledge and ignorance. Whether you're reaching out to loved ones, making contact with other survivors, or simply staying informed about the state of the world, communication gear is an essential part of any survival kit. But in the wake of disaster, not everyone sees communication as a basic right. During authoritarian crackdowns, communication is often the first thing to be restricted. Handheld radios, ham equipment, satellite phones, and encrypted devices may all be seized or outlawed in an attempt to control the flow of information, and when that happens, silence can be as deadly as any other threat. So how do you prepare? By storing your communication gear safely and securely, out of sight and out of mind. EMP-proof Faraday bags can protect your electronics from the pulse of a nuclear explosion, ensuring that even in the worst-case scenario, you'll still be able to reach out to the world. Detachable components can be stored separately, making your gear harder to identify and confiscate. And by choosing license-free options, you can blend into the crowd, avoiding unwanted attention. Remember, the aim here is not to break any laws or to provoke unnecessary conflict. It's to ensure that when the world falls silent, you'll still have a voice. To ensure that when others are cut off, you'll still be connected. To ensure that when the world changes overnight, you'll be the first to know. But with all this in mind, remember that the best tool you have is not a piece of gear, but your own discretion. Be careful who you trust with your plans and your equipment. Be mindful of the signals you send, both literal and metaphorical. And above all, be prepared to adapt, to learn, and to survive. Maintaining communication can keep you informed, connected, and a step ahead. And in a world turned upside down, that's a powerful advantage to have. Gold, silver, and barter goods taxed, tracked, or taken. These treasures are not just mediums of exchange but a lifeline in times of crisis. Precious metals, items of intrinsic value, and commodities for barter can quickly become easy targets owing to their high value and compact size. Illegal or restricted survival tools, when survival becomes a gray area. In the midst of emergencies, certain tools can blur the lines between legal and illegal. Examples include lockpicks, advanced knives, EMP shielding gear, or even large water filters. These items can provide invaluable aid in survival scenarios but might raise eyebrows in regular circumstances. It's a tricky balance to strike, but there are ways to navigate this gray area. One strategy is to purchase items with dual legal uses. For instance, a multi-purpose knife can be a handy tool in daily life and a crucial survival tool when needed. Knowing your local laws inside and out is equally important. This knowledge can help you avoid potential legal pitfalls, and finally, remember the old adage, out of sight, out of mind. Keep your survival gear hidden yet accessible, because when the chips are down, being prepared is what matters. Survival doesn't always align with the law. Stay prepared but stay safe. You're now equipped with the knowledge to protect the things that protect you. If this resonates, hit that like button. Share your concerns in the comments. Subscribe for more insights. Remember, preparation is the key to survival. Stay safe, stay prepared, and stay tuned for more.